Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Two Mike Canisteros stick around for another hour and we learn some trivia about the legendary Ronnie James Dio. Keep listening after the show to hear the full version of Space Band by Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
That was a little Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch.
Worst ending to a song ever.
That was well. At least you knew it ended.
I did. That was kind of.
It was clear. I've had some that kind of trail off, and that one is a clear ending.
Boom.
Yeah, just boom. We're done.
We're done. Yep.
Welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host Don Smith, sitting in with Mike Canistero and Mike Canistero. Mike Canistero, part of the Mr. Wiggly's.
Yep.
The fantastic...
The real hidden talent of Mr. Wiggly. I didn't sing or play guitar well, but that bass line. Just all 6 notes or 5 notes of it.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's
I know
the
there's
perfect
3
amount.
main ones. Boom, 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 boom.
And you nailed them here. So that's fantastic.
I added 2 more. One. Boop, 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 boom. Don't forget boom.
Well, you got to have the change up in there.
You do. You
absolutely. Or it'll just sound flat.
Yes.
So,
Space Band. I don't know what that was about. It was about we're going to make a space band and drive around in a disco van or something like that.
Sounds like a plan.
It's like it was that kind of thing. I put some of the lyrics on our Reverb Nation site for Mr. Wiggly's, and then sometimes I couldn't even tell. My brother's singing through a voice synthesizer. I just had to put unintelligible. Because I can't tell what he's even saying in a couple lines,
Oh, so you actually put... I
put the lyrics up there.
You put the lyrics
I had to listen to
them.
So
you didn't even know.
Yeah. Want to drive a space band, and then maybe we'll play the disco duck or something around. We'll drive around in a disco truck. I forget.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, it could rhyme other ways.
I had no input to the lyrics. Those are all my brother's lyrics. But
now, did he have them written out ahead of time? Is that what?
Yeah, he didn't share them with me. He just said, "Here, go play this riff, play this bass line." Okay, that's good enough.
Boom, boom,
and then
boom,
he would
boom.
just play guitar, and over it, and then sing all this stuff written on a page that I had no input to. I did say that we should do a song called Neil deGrasse Tyson Chicken.
That's a favorite of mine.
It's about Neil deGrasse Tyson, but then we just had to throw chicken in it because after Tyson.
Right, because Tyson chicken. Yeah.
So it's
kind of like a Wheel of Fortune category, the before and after. Yeah, it's kind of like their category. So someday, Neil deGrasse Tyson chicken could show up.
It could be,
and you can sue them for copyright.
That would be something.
You could sue Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure you go back through all the episodes and see if you can find one where they use Neil deGrasse Tyson chicken and say, hey, that is my song. You cannot rip off Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch that way, Pat Sajak.
Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch does not have a very deep team of lawyers. I got to say that. So if anybody wanted to kind of borrow...
we could do some crowd funding to get attorneys to go up against the Wheel of Fortune fat cats, because Mr. Wiggly is Dayton's #1 space funk band.
They are actually ranked #1. There's no category for space funk. There's just funk, and I think we're fifth in funk, but there is no space funk. So
Right. So
definitely.
You are trailblazers in that genre.
I would say even maybe in Ohio. And Dayton is the funk capital of the world.
Then it should be.
They have not contacted me in any way, but it's like the Sticky Hands video.
Right.
A couple years. I'm just sitting back waiting.
Yeah, you'll get a call someday from the Funk Hall of Fame, and they will want your funkin' music in there.
Yeah, we'll put it in there.
Funky music. Sorry.
Funky music.
Okay.
Space funky.
Space funky.
Every song has a space theme to it.
Right.
All 5.
Well,
we could put out an EP.
Is there a fifth one? Because I have Go to Mars with me, Neil deGrasse Tyson Chicken, Pluto's a Dwarf Planet, and Space Band.
You're missing our best song.
Really?
It's called Space Gas is Way Too High. It's actually, I need to download it.
I don't think you sent that to me.
I didn't, and I probably need to, but it's actually the best song we did. It's right top if you go look at on Reverb Nation and Reverb Nation, you just type in Mr. Wiggly. It'll come up as like one of the top 3 Mr. Wigglies.
So Space Gas is Way Too High.
Yeah, feel free. It's on free download. You can download it, and I won't send a team of lawyers after you, Don. If
okay,
you want to play
that's good. That's good because I don't have
it's
any.
Actually, our best. I'm actually proud of my bass playing in that song.
Wow.
I invented that bass line. Yeah, my brother sings and writes lyrics, but I want it to be about
It's
me.
all about the bass. It really is.
It's funk. It's supposed to be the bass.
Right.
And then every song has a weird solo, but that song actually doesn't have a real weird solo. So like Neil deGrasse Tyson Chicken has a chicken.
Of course.
Go to Mars with Me has a shaker kind of solo, and my brother drops it in the middle of the song.
Then you couldn't do a second take?
No, you hear it hit the floor, and he picks it up. And then he's like, I dropped the shaker. he just improv it. I dropped the shaker.
Well, yeah.
Now I tried to pick it up, and I kicked it. It's really bizarre. But we just went with it, and that kind of we hung it together.
Why not?
I mean, what's going? What else? I mean, just trying to be space funkers.
Yes. So, this is a more musical show than I had thought of.
We didn't even get to my dad's story about
a certain rocker
who we went to high school with.
Oh yeah, Ronnie James Dio.
Ronnie James
Dio.
He started out in Cortland, New York. That's where I was born, and I think his first band was Ronnie and the Redcaps.
Which I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah. They cut a record back then, which I have, 45. And I think it was probably his first record. And I probably can't even remember the the more popular side, but what I do remember was Poo Pah Doo was one side. And
I don't see him.
I can't see Dio doing Poo Pah Doo.
You do. Hey, he was the front man.
Well,
had to do whatever he had to do.
That's my memory,
true.
And I'm getting pretty old, so I could be way off base. When I get home, I'll have to look at my stacks of wax and see what the real names of the songs are.
Ronnie and the Redcaps, and then
Ronnie and the Redcaps,
and then I wonder how he transitioned into sort of 80s metal.
Right,
from there, because that's a long time.
I don't
70s,
I don't remember too much really about him, but I do know that we were on the same wrestling team in high school.
Wasn't it track too?
And I don't remember that, but I do remember we must have taken biology together because we were kidding around in the locker room about fishes' air bladders, how they floated around depending on how much air they put in their bladder. And we made a big joke, inside joke about that. But that's about all I remember about him, actually.
Yeah. He's been gone for a while.
It's been,
It's
been, like 70, well, not 70, but 60-some years, anyhow.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I found 6 songs under Ronnie and the Redcaps with James Ronnie Dio.
Yeah.
James Ronnie Dio.
Yeah. The songs are Conquest, What I'd Say, Lover, An Angel Is Missing.
I bet
there are 2 that are what I'd say, and then there's what did I say?
Yeah, I bet you, it might have been
and then the Ooh Poo Pah Doo.
Ooh Poo Pah Doo. Dang.
I'm going to have to find those and at some point play them on the.
Wonder how much that 45's worth of yours.
Probably
not.
If that's an original, if that's an original, I bet there's a Ronnie James Dio collector out there that would probably be. Yeah,
it's an original. Well, I was still in high school. I graduated in '59, so it had to be before then.
Now, was he your same graduating year? Or?
I don't remember that, but if we took biology together,
have to be real close. Yeah,
I kind of think
it
that
out.
might be. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up in our yearbook, and see.
If he wasn't, and he was in accelerated classes, and you weren't, and you're
No,
a chemist.
I was in the decelerated class.
That's something.
So that Ronnie James Dio. Dio was the first concert I ever went. First actual metal concert I went to in high school. I went to Strange Highways tours in I think 1994 at Hara Arena.
Oh boy,
It's a great show.
Yeah,
great show.
Hara Arena.
But the weird thing is when you walk into a metal concert and you run into your English teacher. I had I can't remember his name, but we had an English teacher at West Milton that was a big Black Sabbath fan and Dio fan. So I ran into him, and then of course from the rest of the year I got to make fun of him for being so far back.
There you go.
See, because I fought my way up to the front. That's also the concert I learned you never wear a white shirt to a heavy metal concert.
Shows the blood.
Yeah, there were a handful of fist flying.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah. Because we were right up front. It was me and the friend of mine were right up front. She'd never been to a heavy metal concert and wasn't sure what to expect. We're right up in the front row, and people behind her, just one guy is just slamming us into the gate. So I turned around, and he didn't. He didn't get to see the rest of the concert.
He didn't do the rest of the. Yeah. There you go.
He was done with at that point. I'm not sure what happened.
Did you dirty your shirt with him?
I dirtied my shirt with the guy that was slamming us into the gate.
Sounds like he needed to dirty someone's shirt.
Yeah. And they pulled him out.
Well, he's dirtying people's shirts.
Yeah, he was dirtying people's shirts, slamming us into the gate. So
I don't know for sure, but I do know that Ronnie might have been in a band in Cortland, New York, that they were in a car crash, and a couple of the band members got killed. I know Nick Panis was one of them, but he might have been a part of that band. There was only a few, and they were popular bands in the area there, central New York. But he might have been in with a band that had a couple members get killed in a car crash.
Yeah, that happens. Except only the metal bands.
They seem to have bad luck, don't they, the rock bands?
Yeah, there's a lot of, and it's not the metal bands usually. It's there's a few of them, like Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads. I was just going to say Randy Rhoads.
And I mean, you got a lot of them. Like one of the Beach Boys drowned, didn't he? And one of the, I think Bon Scott. Well, that's AC/DC. That's heavy.
That was the old.
He fell off the boat and drowned.
Yeah.
I remember, I was in college I believe I was in college at the time with the Big Bopper,
right?
Buddy Holly.
That was a plane crash.
That plane,
right?
yeah. But I'm saying they seem to have bad luck.
Yeah.
In travel, I guess.
Yeah. John Denver.
Yeah, those small planes. That's probably they're rich enough to have those small planes.
That's the problem. That's why they're rich enough to have the small private jet. And they fly a lot more because they have a private jet.
Yeah, and those are the ones that go down a lot, right?
Right.
That's the theory I'm sticking with.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I think so. Good. Yeah. Yep. Ronnie James Dio.
That's pretty
Future
cool.
metalhead going to high school with my dad. That's kind of hard to think about. But he's a small guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't too tall.
Yeah.
Because he had at one time he had a keyboard player in his solo band Dio that was like 6'8".
Yeah.
And they looked hilarious
Wow.
next
Yeah,
to each other.
I bet.
It was,
I just bet. That's funny. Yeah. Keyboard player, too. That was that
yeah,
era of
that
metal.
Was, yeah, that
I think
was,
Rainbow,
that was the 80s.
Rain,
That was
Rainbow
the 80s.
had a keyboardist, right? Didn't they for
I
a little while?
believe Rainbow did, yeah.
What the? What's that? Nah, darn, I'm going to be stupid. What's that song with Dio and Rainbow? It's got that little keyboard riff.
Man on the Silver Mountain?
No, not that one. Darn. Forget it. Forget it. I just wasted
Because they're
17 seconds.
There aren't a whole lot of Rainbow songs with Dio that got really popular.
Yeah.
There were a handful. There's Man on the Silver Mountain. There's one other one I can't think of right now either.
I'll have to look it up on the break or whatever it is. But I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Exciting.
He's covering most of the 2 hours here for us. You know, I'm using him as my crutch.
I want you to tell the clock story, though. The analog. I love it.
I don't know why he thinks this is so funny.
I loved it.
Well, we got to hear the clock
it.
story then.
All right.
Since last time you were here, you were all over that clock.
So me and my dad and my brother, we were going to pick my brother. We were going to go to Alabama because my grandmother was in this sort of declining state, and we wanted to go see her.
Not just Alabama. She was in another declining state as well.
It was tough because we had to go to a declining state to see her in a declining
That's terrible.
state. So, you know, I decided since we're going to do a quick, you know, down and back 4-day trip, why not just rent a car? And this is back like maybe in the, like, you know, in the middle, right after the turn of the century, maybe around 2000, you could still get like a rental car for like $19 a
Right.
day. You know, it'd be like, so let me see, I'm going to give you $19 and you're going to give me a whole car. You know, you going to take care of it? Oh, like it's my own.
Sure,
yeah. I want to try some of those.
Because everybody treats a rental car like it's their own.
There's some tricks I saw in a Clint Eastwood movie I want to give a try. You know, so then, so we're waiting forever, and my dad's sitting there. He's being pretty patient. And this lady who was at the whatever rental car place, she's got her kid in the store, and she's like, "Well, you know, your car isn't here yet. It's coming because I guess some guy was driving it in from somewhere because I ordered a specific one." And now she's teaching her kid, like, you know, like how to read an analog clock, which she wasted the kid's time because no one's using them.
Right,
now the kids don't know how to use them. But she's like, well, when the little hand is on the, you know, 5, and the big hand's on the 1, that's 5 after 5, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So she's telling him how to read the clock, and she's doing it, and I'm getting really annoyed, and I'm sitting there, and she could tell my body language is annoyed. We're sitting there for like a half an hour, and she's like, how long have you been waiting here? And I'm like, since the big hand was on the 0. You know, and then she's like, oh, you know, and it was like, you know, 5:30 or something. It was supposed to be done at 5.
We overheard everything she was teaching the kid, and he turned it around and
it was one of the few times.
Hey, lady, you know, we heard everything you were teaching her. We heard everything.
You know, then we weren't being paid
Meanwhile,
attention
we're
to
just
really
sitting
for half an
here
hour.
waiting for the dumb car.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were being paid high attention to, so I thought it was kind of a little mean to say.
I loved it.
I thought it was, then they produced our car pretty quick.
That's a good way to let them know. Yeah, okay.
She had a kid at the job too. I don't think you could do that really, but whatever. Little kid, you know, like.
Well, at least you didn't get like mean in front of the kid. You found another way to
that he didn't understand because I could tell he wasn't
getting
any
of
of
it.
it.
Another way to be mean, you know.
Yeah.
He always be mean in a very, very, very disguised way.
Yep, subtle mean.
Yeah, it was subtle mean. So that's
Which
all. That's all. Our card's done, Dad.
Yeah,
card's done already.
The card's done. It's got
all right. Well, thanks for listening.
Sticky hands, Ronnie James Dio, woodchuck car, analog clock.
I could tell the hospital story if you really wanted me to.
I don't know. Don might have more stuff, but you certainly are welcome to talk about how you had a heart attack.
We'll take a break real quick. I'll find something else to. Which one of the Mr. Wiggley's were you talking about? Where he dropped
Space gas is way too high.
Well, no, the one where he dropped the.
That's Go to Mars with me. He drops the maraca right in the middle of it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you could tell. During the maraca solo.
I've never listened for that because I never knew it was there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick with Mr. Wiggly's exploration launch, and we're going to play a little Go to Mars with me.
There you go.
And we will be back to hear about, we're going to hear the hospital story when we come back.
Really bring your whole work home.
Yeah, probably hit a few news stories before we call it a night. But here's some Go to Mars with me from Mr. Wiggly's exploration launch. We'll be back.
Go to Mars.
What you talk about going to Mars? Well, that sounds just way too far. I don't get one thing alone. What you talk about, Willis? What you talk about? What you talk about? Talk about going to Mars, now that just seems way too far. I don't know how to say this straight, cause I think you're messing with me. What you talk about, Willis? What you talk about? What you talk about? Willis? Here we go.
Over that edge for hours. And people die down there. And dying when you're not really sick is really sick, you know? Really.
All right, we're back on the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. Sitting in for the last segment with Mike and Mike.
Mike and Mike in the evening.
Yeah,
not Mike and Mike in the morning.
Welcome to Mike and Mike in the evening.
I know. Yeah, whatever.
So we're going to hear about a hospital story. Did you want to name the hospital, or
I don't think you should name the hospital. They got deep pockets.
That's true. That's true.
Well, let's just say it's a local hospital And I think it overlooks a river or something. I don't know.
Well, it overlooks an avenue that is quite spectacular. One might even say,
well, it's a nice view.
It's a nice view.
It's a really nice view.
Really,
it's grand.
It is grand. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we'll go from there.
Well, anyhow, I was coming to see the other Mike here. And I was on, is it 290 going around Cleveland?
270.
270?
No, 271.
Okay. Well, anyhow, it was going around Cleveland, very close to the Cleveland Clinic, which could have been fortunate, actually. But anyhow, I had the air conditioner on like crazy, blowing real cold. I was breathing in the cold air, and all of a sudden my chest starts to tighten up on me. So I pull over, take a nitroglycerin, wait for it to go away, and I head to Dayton. And I guess my main concern was that it probably had to be a Sunday, was to get more nitroglycerin for the next day because I was running out. But before... I tried to get a hold of the pharmacy or my doctor and stuff. I went up on my son's roof and trying to. No, I don't know if I was removing an antenna.
I told you that I had my antenna on my TV because I don't have cable. My antenna just connected to the TV was doing better than the antenna that was on the roof. And he's like, "Well, you're not going to leave that antenna up there, are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I ain't going up on that roof because I don't like going on roofs."
Right.
Like, I'm going to go get it. And so he goes on the roof the day after having angina attacks, and then he has more angina attacks up on the roof, or after the roof. And so then I got to tell my side of the story, because I really had to twist your arm to go to that hospital, because I had to have my friend who was a cardiac nurse talk to you and finally convince you that you really need to get checked out.
I don't remember that. I don't think any of that happened.
Well, you denied it all. You didn't want to go. And I'm like, look, okay, we don't have to go now. We'll go get nice sleep. We'll go next thing in the morning, because his jaw was hurting and his CPK levels are high. CPK level is that enzyme. It ain't California Pizza Kitchen for sure. It was too high. So his CPK is too high. He's having like heart problems, So there you go. I drove you in on Tuesday morning, and then they proceeded to keep you.
You're cutting across part of the story.
Okay,
here.
Sorry. My bad. I just wanted to do the younger people who have older parents. I had to go through a lot to get him to even go to the hospital.
Well, in any case, my main concern was to get more nitroglycerin. So I called up my cardiologist back in New York, and they said to me, "Yeah, we'll fill your nitroglycerin, but you better get yourself into the emergency room." So then I told my son, and I guess we decided to go there.
I like how
we decided.
I'm feeling okay all the while. The angina went away, and I'm sitting on this gurney, waiting for them to get done with the blood test. I guess they did an EKG, and I even told them, "Hey, it skipped a beat there," and the guy ran and got the strip. Yeah, sure enough. How the heck did you know that? Well, anyhow, I'm sitting there waiting for the blood test result. I'm almost falling asleep, and then here comes the angina again. So I'm looking around for one of those emergency buttons, and it ain't around anywhere. So I'm waving out the kind of isolation curtains, asking someone, "Hey, can you get me some help? I'm having an angina attack," So they finally come running in, and they had the emergency button over on a counter somewhere, covered with some linens or something,
right where it should be,
right where
way
I
far
could
away,
get to
covered
it
up
real quick. And they checked me out. They took me down. I was in pretty good pain, and they called in a surgeon, and he says, "Oh, well, you just hang in there. We'll get rid of your pain real quick." and they did a catheterization, and the pain went away. I did have to stay there a day or so, but the thing that I loved about this place was it was so damn noisy. I mean, they put me in a room with a thrashing machine. I don't know what it was. It must have been some kind of a assisted breathing polio iron lung unit. But
I remember
and then the nurse's office, or the whatever they are, the office of all the nurses, I guess, were right across the hall, and I could hear them talking about everything. And if you're out there, I'm glad you don't have to use deodorant. It was an interesting thing to learn while I was in the hospital. But they did move me. But
you should have just told her you could tell. Now get me out of here.
Well, she apparently claimed not,
Here's the thing. I came. He was happy for a day in the hospital. Then he wasn't getting any sleep because it was kind of like the environment. I always wake you up to give you a sleeping pill kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I come and he's like, come here. And he grabs me by the collar. And because he wanted to tell it right into my ear because he didn't want, this guy next to me sounds like he's strangling all night. And I'm like, okay, well.
And the nurses don't wear deodorant.
He just took a turn for the whatever, he was just happy as a peach there. Oh, they're paying good attention to me. And then it was like, this guy next to me strangling all night. And I'm like, how do you think
deprivation.
How do you think he feels? Yeah. He's the one that's strangling all night. But I do got to say, I had to take Dad kicking and screaming, but he had a heart attack right in the hospital. He was very lucky.
Right there on the gurney, and I thought I was scot-free, laying there comfortable. I thought it was all the cold air from the car, and it just all went away. I had angina before, and a stent before.
That sounds so nice, angina. It sounds like your aunt that
Angina.
makes you like peach cobbler.
Let's
go
good.
see angina. It doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound very good.
It just sounds very like a very soft word that doesn't mean you have a blockage, which is what angina is. Oh, it can be brought on by a stiff breeze. And my dad's just choking down nitroglycerin tablets, which isn't really helping the, root of the problem.
Right.
Says the guy who's injured himself somehow and has a fever in his rolling groin. At least I'm going to the urgent care next.
You said you weren't going to talk about that.
It's something weird, but yeah, okay.
I'm not going to say bring it out.
Don't
on
feel
the
like
table.
myself.
No, we're good.
No, you don't want to see it.
Are you feeling okay? Because we can skip news and I can play a few songs. And
no, I'm feeling. I got 19 minutes in me, sure.
Okay,
but I got to get to the urgent care before 10. You think they'll kick me out?
I got a lot of nitroglycerin that maybe it'll open you up down there somewhere.
Yeah.
I need some Cipro is what I need.
That's
too much
the
information.
nitroglycerin pill is like a suppository, but the other side. Yeah, that made everybody.
You mean a catheter is what you mean.
Oh, God.
Nitroglycerin
catheter.
Oh, God. Here's the thing.
They got all those good kinds that they have.
Oh, my God. I will say this. If we're going to talk about hospitals, today I went to Southview to drop some pee because I'm like, hey, do I have a urinary tract infection? Okay. Hey, I'm talking. I'm not too proud to talk about it. I guess. Of course, I'm just really tired and feverish. So I go in the bathroom and they're like, "We have catheters on the toilet. There's catheters. There's something in a little package. There's something. I don't know. Were they catheters?
A condom, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
But there was something. I'm like, I don't know what's in the plastic
have no
package.
Idea.
And then you go in the bathroom.
Just a random bathroom?
No, you go in their
ER?
bathroom. They give you a name. No, I wasn't in the ER. This was just at the urologist that I went to a few years ago. By the way, folks, if you ride your bike more than 5,000 miles a year, this is going to happen to you. Once in a while, you're going to need a urologist or something. I can't believe this show turned into Healthcare Central.
Yes.
So
we were doing exercises earlier. So
yeah, maybe that's what
it's
loosened
what it
up.
is. Yep.
But then you go to the kind of bathroom where you do the urine sample, and then there's a little door that you open up. It has two sides, and you put the cup in there.
Is the My Pillow guy on the other side?
And then a guy opens up the door and he says, "Thanks, I'll take it from here." Yeah. Not really, but that someone's
delicious. What you been drinking?
You got any more? It's kind of creepy, though, because you just put it in a little compartment and it closes, but it's a two-way compartment. And
you put it in a little compartment and closes, and you turn around, it's gone. And
you
just don't even
the
know
other
where
person
it went.
is there.
So, it's like a magic trick.
It is. And then they called me up and say, you don't have a UTI. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever it is, it's got to get taken care of. So there you go. Sorry.
You don't have a UTI, but it's a little tangy. Might want that checked out. Yeah. All kinds of hospitals and health problems.
Yeah, get older and it happens, guys.
Yeah.
And then we talk about it on the radio and make people grossed out about it.
Exactly. Yeah, and why not?
Yeah, it's good therapy. I feel a little better.
Yeah.
So
that's all we need to hear. Well, let's hit a few news stories before we call it a night. It's supposed to be a gem resting between two fingers, but the image of a new pendant that was shared by London jeweler Theo Fennell gave the impression of something else entirely.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, you think you saw that. Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Lucas Gruenig created the pendant as part of the company's Gilded Youth program, which recognizes the work of jewelry students, which I didn't know there were jewelry students, but I guess they have to learn it somewhere.
Trade.
Its design was supposed to represent how a goldsmith assesses a gem by placing it between their index and middle finger. However, comments on Theo Fennell's Instagram page indicated that some people saw something different, albeit a jeweled one. One commenter wrote, a commenter named Amber Alyssa 1989 wrote, "That is a vag." Nature's Enigma wrote, "I know what it's supposed to be, but this definitely looks like a pierced vagina." So, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I saw that, and someone shared it, and I was like, oh, boy,
that's because I saw it, and you can tell what it's supposed to be, but it's like, now
guys,
we know what
come on.
it
That's where
like.
you need some sort of editorial step in there.
Yeah, somebody needs to have looked at that and said, wait a minute, that's not going to work.
That's not what you should put out.
Or maybe
that's what they want.
That's what they wanted. They want that because otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it.
That's true.
It would just be like, eh.
Yeah.
So
wonder how much business it drummed up.
Yeah, probably quite a few.
Yeah.
And they all want their vajayjays pierced.
Oh, jeez.
That's what
it's the wrong subject to talk about. I don't even have one, but I don't want to talk about it now.
Toy maker Hasbro announced it has trademarked one of its most recognizable aspects of one of its most iconic products, the smell of Play-Doh. The Pawtucket, Rhode Island company announced Friday that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has officially recognized the distinctive Play-Doh smell as a registered trademark of the brand, which first hit stores in 1956. The odor is described by Hasbro as a sweet, slightly musky, vanilla-like fragrance with slight overtones of cherry and a natural smell of a salted wheat-based dough. I smelled none of that in Play-Doh.
It smells rubbery.
Yeah, it just smells kind of disgusting, actually.
Yeah. I kind of liked it, though. I think it smelled like childhood.
I think they needed a little bit of a decomposing chipmunk or woodchuck, decomposing woodchuck from a car's engine, a K car's engine compartment.
See, that's the smells I have from my childhood.
Right.
And when I do get a
fresh batch of Play-Doh,
or
which
I do often,
woodchuck.
I might get one tonight at the urgent care. But it's got a good. It resonates well with me, Play-Doh, because you could, you remember you stuck it on the cartoon funnies and it picked it up and you stretched Charlie Brown out all sorts of different ways. Just me on that?
I remember those things.
Yeah, I think those were fun. So, yeah.
Silly Putty was another. Yeah.
That was Silly Putty.
Yeah, that was Silly Putty.
No, my bad. I meant Silly Putty. Oh, that was terrible. I got the wrong stuff. Play-Doh, Play-Doh's all right.
Yeah, Play-Doh.
Play-Doh smelled like clay.
There's no Silly
It was
Putty.
clay.
Yeah.
Silly Putty smelled good to me. I thought. Came in a little egg.
Yeah, I remember the movie Amazon Women on the Moon. They had silly pate at their party.
Silly pate?
Yeah, you've never tried silly pate before.
Get a few vowels wrong and you're off on a different tangent.
Yeah. A kangaroo was caught. I covered this one. Yeah, I think I covered this one, but we'll do it again. A kangaroo was caught on video hopping around a South Carolina highway 2 days after a photo from its previous escape went viral. A driver on Highway 28 in McCormick County captured video Thursday morning of the Australian animal hopping around to the surprise of witnesses. The McCormick County Sheriff's Office said deputies responded to a call about the marsupial Thursday morning, and the kangaroo was safely returned to its owner's farm. The McCormick County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit posted a photo to Facebook Yeah, that's what it said. The McCormick County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit posted a photo to Facebook 2 days earlier showing the kangaroo in the road in front of the deputy's car.
There are some smart canines.
That is. They train them better than the officers. The sheriff's office said the kangaroo's owner was identified and reunited with his pet. So apparently he can't build a fence that's high enough to keep
a kangaroo?
Apparently in, where was it, South Carolina. Apparently you can have a pet kangaroo.
Interesting. Well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I would think that because they kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd. Yeah, they.
They box you.
Yeah, because
gloves.
Yeah, you'd have to put gloves on a kangaroo if you're going to have one as a pet.
I wonder what would be worse, a kangaroo or an ostrich?
I think both.
For a pet or to box?
No, to get attacked by.
I'd box it. Either one.
I don't know.
I think kangaroo.
I don't know. I think can an ostrich run faster than? Can it move faster than a kangaroo?
What do they do though? They don't really fly, so their wings couldn't. I tell you, when I get chased by a goose, I know that the wings, and it happens a lot. The wings can smack up against you and they can bite.
Well,
but
you ride a bike a lot, so you have plenty of encounters with. Well, yeah, and
I was thinking, you always get the neck on those things. Like, what are they going to do? You get it right by the neck. What the hell are they going to do? You can't do that with a goose, by the way. You guys listening,
Canadian geese, no, they're
protected, but they are overpopulating the whole world.
Yes, they should no longer be protected. We should just be able to.
Why are they? Is that I know that?
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they're. Because actually, Canadian geese are probably the most aggressive thing about Canada outside of hockey.
Yeah, I would say so. Even moose aren't. Mooses are really.
Yeah, well, we don't see a whole lot of them around here. But no, I mean, Canadian geese, I mean, they'll attack you in a heartbeat. If it was a true Canadian geese, say, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't see you there."
Yeah, I know. Be
real polite.
What's the American geese doing? We'll just do whatever they're doing. Yeah. We'll come in after them.
We'll do what they're doing, only more polite about it.
Yeah, we'll attack them after.
I went to a thrift store yesterday, and I thought I saw an interesting book there. It was called The Canadian Dictionary.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean, what
why didn't you buy it?
What in the world would be different, I wonder?
Yeah, probably something. Huh?
A book full of A?
Well, hey, there's a whole
real
province.
Short. That's all it is.
There's a province that is French.
They skip the rest of the alphabet. They just start with A, and that's it. It's the only word that's different. A.
Yeah, interesting.
But the problem is, there's like 75 pages worth of definition for A because they use it for everything.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
One thing defines not killing the law of not killing Canadian geese, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of the definitions of A. Don't do that, eh?
Hey, you're nice. He's nice, eh? Let's get to know him. There's only like a month when Canada geese are really bad, and that's when they're mating and nesting.
Yeah.
So otherwise, they're just in the way.
Well, that's when they're the maintenance man's nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they nest on roofs, and you can't move them because they're protected.
And they own that roof for a
month. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I remember years ago, and I worked at this one place that I won't mention. My boss's window is like right across his. They had like a kind of went back to the entrance of the building, so there were two big wings coming out on either side of the building. Mm-hmm. And my boss's office is on this side, on the left side of it as you come up. Well, on the right side, way up perched on the roof, there's one of the Canadian geese up there. Well, I was just starting with the company, so he told me, he said, go up the roof, chase that thing off there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, fine. And I went up there, and it started to get aggressive, so I just ran toward it.
Yeah.
and it scared it, and it fell off the roof, and it started flying, and it slammed full force right into my boss's window when he was sitting there.
Karma.
I came in, I was like, "You all right?" He's
You
like,
want it off? I want it off.
Karma.
It was still shaking by the time I got off the roof and back around to his office.
That's great. That's great.
So yeah, that one got him. That one got him.
I mean, I guess you can't do anything to him. What if one flies at you? Can you punch it in the gut? What can you do?
You should be able to.
Yeah,
That's because it's self-defense
right?
at that point.
Yeah.
Self-defense
All right,
against
good.
Canadian
That's good to
geese. Yeah.
I got to say, when I ride my bike to work,
Although it's a Canadian geese, if you punch it, you might just get to a minute in the penalty box. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. I carry a little tiny rock with me, and just kind of throw it at its feet. And get it out of the way. It starts coming at you. Just don't try to hit it. Just throw it right in front of it, distract it, and get the heck out of there.
Years ago, same place I worked, we were coming outside to work at this big gate up there, and there was one way off, and it was probably about 50 yards away. And I'd reached down, picked up a rock, just joking. I was tossing it. The guy I was working with said, "There's no way you could hit that thing." I just kind of lobbed it. I went ahead and lobbed it, and it bounced off the ground about probably 3 feet in front of it. The rock bounced back up and cracked it. You could hear it from where we were standing. Cracked it in the side of the head. Its big, long neck, it almost hit the other side of its head on the ground. Wow. And it kind of wobbled for a second and took off. And I don't think we saw that one again.
They're tough. I bet you they're tough.
Yeah. It didn't really faze him much. It just kind of had to shake for a minute. But
yeah, that's good. That's the official record.
That's what
really happened.
Yeah, that's what really happened. It wasn't by rock. I didn't mean like pellet or anything like that. It was just a rock. I did not.
Baseball bat.
Yeah, it's.
Didn't mean any of that.
Nope. Although we did used to drive nuts with the little laser pointers. They don't like those.
They don't like those?
No, they get very angry at the laser pointers.
They get angry at you existing.
Yeah.
If you're
that's pretty much true. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. This has been a lot of fun. We went all the way through your card.
We did. We did.
We got a handful of good stories. It was so good to have you in, Mike the Father.
Mike the Second.
Yes, Mike. You're Mike the Second.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm
Mike the Third.
Yeah. I'm glad I got him here. This is like a nice place that I've come back and visited, and I glad to get him in here.
Yeah, it was great having you.
No, thanks for having me.
I enjoyed your stories when you called in. So
yeah, and thanks for having us.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely
Enjoyed it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play us out of here, and we're going to take a break for at least a week before I'm going to be back in here doing this again.
And be nice to geese.
And be nice to your Canadian geese. They're just like American geese, only not as many firearms.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM with a repeat broadcast on Wednesdays from noon to 2, or you can always stream the show live at wwsu1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Get more nitroglycerin.